Few of us can imagine what it would be like to have our lives altered in such a sudden and profound way. 1 minute Stacey Herbert was a vivacious, leggy, popular young woman, a model who loved high heels and the attention that came with them. The next minute, the Christchurch earthquake of 2011 changed all of that. Stacey, in her own words, is now half the woman she once was. But, as you'll see, out of loss, she's found unfathomable courage and determination. Janet McIntyre reports.
I was proud of my body, was comfortable in my skin, and I held my head high.
Stacey Herbert loved to show her body off.
Like my stomach, my arms, yeah, they were good. And my legs, they were good legs.
A model and finance officer recently engaged to her childhood sweetheart Nick, she was looking forward to their first overseas holiday. Stacey's life was set, or so it seemed.
Just appreciate everything while you can, because once it's gone, it's gone.
And it can all happen just like that.
Literally, yeah. Takes only a couple seconds. What the hell has just happened? You know, Jesus, has there been a bomb, or was it an earthquake, or what the hell?
Stacey was just back from lunch at her desk on the 4th floor of the press building.
I turned around and was facing towards the cathedral. And I remember seeing the windows, almost like it was slow-mo, and they went, like, right, to that way, to that way.
Then a wall crashed down on her.
The impact flattened me, so I was, lying face down, under my desk.
As most people fled buildings, Stacey couldn't move. A roof had collapsed on her desk. A woman was dead, just a metre away.
It was just a lot of concrete and steel, I think it was steel, and yeah, just a lot of stuff on me.
Could you move?
No, I was pretty much pinned by my arms and legs.
For hours, she and other trapped workers called to each other and called out for help.
And I remember hearing the damn helicopters above us. I was like, how the hell is anyone going to hear us with these damn helicopters hovering above? Oh, they so pissed me off because it was so loud.
Stacey was overwhelmed.
I was thinking, shit, I don't want to live through this. This is horrible, especially with the continued aftershocks. I thought, bugger this, I'm just going to stop, I'm just going to stop everything. So I thought if I maybe just close my eyes, I might just die, and then that would be it.
You wanted to die?
Death would have been a nice option at that time.
But death didn't come. After closing her eyes for a bit, they just opened again.
That didn't work, so the next thing was, stuff you earthquake, I'll try and survive, which I think that was just a bit of me being stubborn. So the next thing was just to keep awake and try and beat it.
After 3 hours, rescuers made it to the top of the shaking century-old building. And Nick too, somehow he got up there.
You got up there by yourself?
I got given a hard hat in the high-vis, so it was safe.
That's so not going to help you in an earthquake.
Anything could have happened up there.
Yeah, but I told Stacey that if anything ever happened, I'd come to her, so she wasn't going far anyway.
The hours rolled on, rescuers making little progress.
Another saw?
Stacey, under the crush of the rubble, was deteriorating.
You know that there was a tremendous effort going on to free her on top of the press building. It did look like they were struggling to get Stacey out, and Stacey was becoming more and more unwell.
By nightfall, orthopaedic surgeon Gordon Beadle and a surgical team were making their way towards Stacey. They feared the worst.
We were going to undertake whatever was required to try and save Stacey's life.
You were prepared to get on top of that wrecked building and do a major amputation if you had to.
No one wants to do that. It's a horrifying prospect to do an amputation. It's a procedure that should be done in an operating theatre and in the best conditions. But so Stacey was trapped, and if that was the only way of getting Stacey free, then it seemed to be the best option at that point in time.
Up next, after 8 hours buried in rubble,
Just remember the fresh air and the rain on my face.
the hardest road is still ahead.
Just drifting off to sleep.
Stacey, like you, has asked me, why'd you do it? Why did you have to cut off my legs?
Five hours on, Stacey is still under rubble. Critically injured, in shock. Rescuers unable to reach her.
Pain?
No, just guess like adrenaline or something had kicked in because, yeah, there definitely like wasn't pain that everyone would think there would be.
One more here.
Then, through the dark, the human touch of a rescuer.
I remember him feeling my butt and I was like, success, like it was another step forward and, gave you a bit more hope.
At the same time, a surgical team is on its way to Stacey, prepared to amputate if necessary to free her.
The thought of doing that in a tight, confined place in the dark on the top of the building is extremely challenging.
But just as they arrive, Stacey is pulled free by the rescuers. Her legs still just intact. She's been under concrete for 8 hours.
And just remember the fresh air and the rain on my face. And then kind of knew like, yay, I'm out, I made it, yeah.
Alive, but she couldn't have known what lay ahead. That when she was admitted to Christchurch Hospital and put into an induced coma, she was at risk of losing not just both her legs, but both her arms as well.
Stacey had lost all the feeling and movement virtually in all her limbs from being crushed. She had very little hand, arm, leg motion. She had a left leg injury above the ankle, which her foot had almost been amputated in the crush injury.
Had her injuries become more serious because of the time that had elapsed?
Absolutely. The longer you're crushed, the longer muscle does not have a blood supply, the less chance it can recover.
And at some point, you considered amputating her arms as well?
Yes. I mean, those are the severity of Stacey's injuries.
So you'll feel yourself just drifting off to sleep.
Surgeons saved Stacey's arms,
That's a girl.
but made the call to sacrifice her legs.
Lying on your favourite beach somewhere, wherever that might be.
Stacey, like you, has asked me, why'd you do it? Why did you have to cut off my legs? And I try and explain it. It's a hard decision, and it was the right decision, and that's what I keep telling Stacey. If we hadn't made that decision, Stacey might not be here to ask that question.
They didn't know if she was going to live or die, so yeah, and that her legs were basically killing her. All I personally was thinking is do anything you gotta do to save her. Yeah.
Stacey remained in a coma for 3 weeks as surgeons went back to theatre with her again and again, trimming her thigh bones and tissue.
So effectively, Stacey became fully conscious to realise she'd lost both legs. Horrendous.
Yes, it is horrendous.
Like, there were times where it was pretty much every day, you know, every second it was, oh my God, what the hell, why has this happened to me? That really, really got to me, like, that question. And finally kind of got through my head that, yeah, I could have run, I could have not been at work, but I could have been outside and something could have fell on me, or I could have run and I could have ended up worse or dead.
Stacey's endured more than 30 operations since February 2011, leaving her with stumps barely long enough to fit prosthetic legs. Her rehabilitation painful and slow.
There was a guy across from my bed and he was doing his rehab, and he, I think he had one leg missing above or below the knee. I just remember bursting into tears, and my physio was like, well, what's wrong? I'm like, I'm so upset, I can't believe I'm wishing I was that guy. I wish I was the guy that had the one leg. Like, I never thought I'd be wishing to have one leg missing, but right now, I wish I was that person.
Just tell her to get on with it. Yeah. Get on with your life and enjoy what you do have, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just getting onto any kind of footing is a major accomplishment. Standing upright, baby steps, but with a body that won't forget what it's lost.
My calf muscle, I can still feel my calf muscles burning. And
Really?
yeah, I can feel pretty much all of it. Like, when I bend forward, I can feel the pressure going through my toes, and everything like that is pretty detailed.
What is that?
Just the fender pain, but it's so frustrating. It's like, okay, thanks body, I know I don't have the legs, please stop reminding me what it should feel like. So it's just basically a slap in the face from the body.
But she's not giving in, determined to live as normally as she possibly can.
Quite a business.
Yeah.
And keeping up appearances.
There you go, and then I can just put them up from there. Thank you.
I'm proud of her give it a go attitude, and that she's willing to give everything a go, even if she needs a wee push. Yeah, it's good.
She's even trying to get her legs to grow, embarking on groundbreaking surgery.
Through here where this short line is.
A stretching device implanted in her left thigh bone.
So what we're doing is cutting the bone, and then we'll gradually pull it apart to lengthen it and grow new bone.
You turn so much a day and it just pulls the bone apart and lengthens. So it's like a slow torture device. That's basically how I describe it. Oh, can you running, Stacey? Just plug everything in.
If she can lengthen the legs she's been left with, Stacey hopes to get to the US to a clinic specialising in fitting high-tech electronic legs for people with above-the-knee amputations.
If that is successful, hopefully that will allow Stacey to walk again, which is what Stacey and us all want.
Is it possible?
I hope so. I hope so. There aren't long-term outcome studies as to how well it's going to work. But if it succeeds, it'll be fantastic.
She's taking it millimetre by millimetre, step by step. By stretching her left thigh bone over the past 4 months, she's grown it 6 centimetres.
Have to have a wee try on and see how we go.
Okay.
Right now, she's throwing herself into a fundraising ball to help her get back on her feet and get those brand new electronic legs.
It's quite flattering, that strapless dress. It's got
Sparkles. Yeah. Just cool. Be able to have some kind of normality back into life, being able to talk to people at eye level, be able to get things off shelves and shops, you know.
Is there one thing you'd really like to do above everything else?
I'd love to be able to walk up the aisle at my own wedding. I've always had that image, you know, being the bride, walking out, having that first dance. being the same height, well, you know, near the same height. Yeah, that would be great.
Well, you can find out more about Stacey's surgery and fundraiser on our Facebook page. And the incredible footage of Stacey's rescue was filmed by Urban Search and Rescue.